Yep.
Scott, the look here, Scott. See?
You know what? I was going to put it on and I didn't. I was telling Rob I did this. I did this to be a smart ass.
Keep that flannel, baby.
Let's go, right?
I like it,
Here we
Peter.
go. The field to the deal and to the flannel. So here we are, week 12, NFL. Broncos, are they playoff bound? CU, are they playoff bound?
Ooh, big conversations.
And the Nuggets, how would you feel, CJ, if your star guy took a week off for a newborn baby?
Oh yeah, go do that.
Yeah, for a newborn kid, absolutely.
For the kiddos, I'm with that. For the kiddos, I remember in the combine interview. I know we live and we can talk about other stuff, but I remember the Patriots asked if it was a immediate family funeral or if you was having kids, would you miss the football game? And I answered yes, and I never heard back from them again.
Really?
Yeah, that's on their well, at that time, I don't know if it is now with Bill not being
I've never heard that.
That was
before.
on their that was in their interview question, and I said yes when I was talking to Coach Fears, Ivan, right? I running back coach, him and Josh. I told him absolutely. I said if my grandma or my mom or somebody died, I said the people who got me here, absolutely. And I said, my first child, absolutely. I never heard back from him.
What about a second one? Like if you're like, hey, I've already done this a few times. So, hey, CJ Anderson, future head coach at
UC Berkeley, hopefully.
UC Berkeley. Toledo had a tough loss the other night. I'm kind of rooting for that one too. For his super agent Peter Schaefer Esquire, I think he still got his lacrosse shirt on. It was the
it's Instinctive Scouting.
Instinctive Scouting. Sorry, I missed
Scouting shirt.
Let's go. The binoculars on today.
Scott, the NFL GM, with his flannel on, he keeps it at 57 in his townhouse because apparently he wasn't. I don't know. He didn't work on his. I thought Peter worked on his contracts to pay his heating bill in the future, but apparently something happened.
He got released like Daniel Jones. Maybe the bills are not being paid no more.
Oh man! So while you guys retweet this, share it, like it, I want to remind you guys about Simpler, digital marketing company. Help your organization be found in a complex digital world. Be found simply at simpler.ai. That's Simpler with a Y, Sympler. There's a link in the description as well. CJ, you ever have a starting quarterback get cut mid-season?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, behind the scenes, I asked a question that made sense on the $35 million on the trade value, but it just didn't work out. That's just comments. That's just what it is. I mean, to be honest, I thought Daboll, if anybody can save Daniel Jones' career, I thought it'd be Daboll because he kind of saved Josh Allen at one point. But I never heard of that. That's tough. I would love to hear the perspective from the GM who could have drafted him and how do they feel, and then the agent who's representing him. So I'm glad we got these other two perspectives on here. But
right.
But as a player, as we like to say in this business, right? NFL not for long, but we like to say this too. Nobody's safe. At some point, everybody got to go. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, no matter who. Everybody, unless you retire like Jerome Bettis, right? Stay with one team, but Jerome got traded too. But nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. And that's what even Emmitt Smith got cut and found his way on another team in a different uniform. Just
Let's forget about that one.
Yeah, nobody's safe, man.
Scott, have you ever been in a conversation like this where they just had it with Daniel Jones with the New York Giants just cutting him halfway through his contract?
No, never. But the thing about it is, if you're going from the starter to third string and you got him playing safety on a scout team, all you're asking for is an injury. All you're asking for is money. It's too bad for him. I mean, he's flashed some here and there. And it's not his fault they gave him the contract whatsoever. He's a fall guy. But they should start looking inside instead of outside and see what's going on, because this is not right. He'll go somewhere else and he'll play another 10 years. You wait and see.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, he's a Duke quarterback.
Not saying he's going to be a starter, but he'll be a legit backup. But the contract he received and the expectations of him were not met. And that happens. That's part of the business. It happens all the time. If he was a bad guy or a bad dude, meaning he's doing wrong stuff off the field and that kind of stuff, which I don't think he is, which I don't know, but he's doing the best he can possibly do. It's their fault that they paid him the contract they paid him, and now they got to live with it.
Well, Scott, you were in Washington and you had a bubble wrap RG3.
Correct.
Because he had a $16 million fifth-year guaranteed money option that was injury protected. So you've been in those discussions, and you don't want to make decisions based upon money. But at the end of the day, if you're not winning this year, that money next year is valuable.
100%. Well, and the thing about it is, Peter, as you're well aware, you got to produce. You got wins and losses.
Right.
That's how quarterbacks get measured.
Yeah,
Plain and simple.
The difference, though, Scott put the talent around RG3. Like, I ain't saying nothing against the GM over there in New York. Both New Yorks. One's fired, the other one, or both, I should say New Jersey. They're not even in New York. But the GMs over there with the Giants, like, there's not really a lot of talent to help Daniel Jones. Like, Scott gave RG3 the chance with the talent around him, right? He had a good running attack. O-line was solid, right? Pierre Garcon on the outside. Can't remember the other receiver that they had at the time. Solid football player, right? Obviously brought in the right coach for the right system. I mean, RG3 had his chances. Now, the injury definitely sucks for RG3 and not having the offseason and those things. But I don't know if Daniel Jones ever really got a chance. Outside of Saquon Barkley, can we name his counterparts that helps you be successful in the National Football League? It'd be different if he was like one of those top guys who makes guys. He was never that guy who makes guys. So he needed some talent around him.
Well, 2 years ago, CJ, they make the playoffs, and in Dayball's first year, and
coach of the year.
He's coach of the year. Daniel makes some progress. And then he regressed. And so part of it, I think, at some point is the ability to handle success as a quarterback, to, surround yourself, people around you saying, no, you're not a finished product. Let's be focused. You get this big contract. Keep in mind now, he switched agents before he got the big contract. People don't switch agents unless the other agents tell him you're worth more. So now all of a sudden, he was asking for $55 million.
Which he wasn't that at all. I mean,
right,
but I can't blame him.
But in his mind, someone was telling him he was.
Yeah, he's probably looking at Dak Prescott in the same division, saying, "Yeah, we're pretty much the same player. Like, he might have more yards than this. But we have the same amount of playoff wins, same amount of playoff, like with the same damn player." So,
CJ, you and I are about the same running back. You and I are together. We both have a Super Bowl. Together, we both have.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm just saying,
I wouldn't say that. But like, Pete, that's what I would be telling you if I'm seeing another running back in my division getting paid that I've had, if not the same numbers or the same amount of wins. I would be telling you the same thing. Like, if he gets 60, why can't I get 60?
Right, and
I get that logic. They both wrong. They both out of there. But I get the logic. Like, you don't pay Dak that much. Like, you don't pay Daniel Jones that much.
Where do you guys think Daniel Jones is going to land besides an insurance company?
I'm saying Raiders.
Ooh.
Now with Antonio Pierce running the show.
Well, so here's the deal, though.
You need something, partner.
I agree with you on that.
Hey, real quick, Peter, I'm sorry to cut you off. Know this, CJ, the GM at the Giants is a stud. He's a really good personnel guy. And a really good person. Has he been successful? No. To a point, yes, but not like he wants to be. But he's not a bad evaluator. I know evaluators throughout the league. He's legit.
Oh, I'm not. I agree with you. I just know that Darius Slayton is not a number one. Like, that's just the truth. He's a good
two.
He's a good football player. Like, Malik Labors was a good draft pick. But like, if we go before that, right? Obviously, the tight end didn't work out. Was it Evan Neal? I think that was his name. The tackle. The tackle never worked out. Ingram was over there, right? That's the tight end. The tight end didn't work out. He's doing well in Jacksonville. I mean, some people just didn't pan out who he picked too, or they're playing better in other spaces because of the Scott. In my opinion, I think it all collects, right? GM, personnel, coaches, like it all has to go and cohese as a successful to be a successful thing. And I don't know if it's, obviously it was Pat Shurmur and them didn't get the job done before Pat, forgot who it was. And then obviously after Pat was Dayball. So, are you picking the wrong coaches in that facet too? It's tough. That's what makes it tough.
Well, I would say this moving forward to where does Daniel Jones wind up? First of all, no one's going to claim him. You're not claiming a $35 million contract.
I agree with that.
So he's going to be a free agent. And then he gets to choose. So Scott says well, the Raiders, if I'm Daniel Jones and Daniel Jones's representation, is that where I want to go right now for the last 6 weeks? Because I have to be saying to myself, where can I go to try to create some market for this guy for 2025? Because right now, his market is almost worthless, right? You could say, and so I want to try to resurrect.
Scott, I kind of disagree with you on the market almost being worthless.
Yeah. What would you pay him right now for next year?
I don't know what I'll pay him, but I know other teams need quarterbacks.
Correct.
They're desperate for QBs.
And people always think they can fix the guy that's.
I was just going to say that. Coaches feel like they can fix a person and do better. Look at the Josh. I know this is a different position, but look how Josh Gordon was rotated around. Oh, if he comes over here, we can stop the weed smoking. We comes over here, we can stop the weed smoking. He's a great player. He's still smoking weed, getting into trouble, and he still is a hell of a player. But I think there are some coaches out there who would take that chance on Mr. Jones, especially for teams who need quarterbacks.
100%.
Right, but he's not going in to be a one. So therefore, all right. So right now, if that's the case, if the Raiders call up and say, "Okay, CJ, you're the agent. Scott, let's just play this out. CJ, you're the agent. Scott, you're Daniel Jones. So then I'm going to call you, CJ. Then you got to call Scott." The Raiders say, "Look, here's the deal. You're already getting paid by the Giants. We'd like you to come on our practice squad for the last 6 weeks of the season."
I would probably tell Daniel no. I would try to put him in a position where he can be successful. That roster is worse than the Giants.
That's the Raiders. That's the Raiders. That's what I'm saying. He can go in there and start.
What about if it was someone like the Chargers where they're like, "Hey, we want to back up for Herbert"?
See, I'm good on backups in good places. Miami's a good place for backup to learn under. Right? Yeah, Herbert is another one. I mean, look at Geno. I'm not saying take the Geno approach. That rarely happens, but you could take the backup approach the last 6 weeks, and then I think you still have a market because A, there's only so many quarterbacks that are going to be drafted in this draft class. Both of you guys know that. And then B, right, there are a lot of teams who need QBs, who need quarterbacks.
But you tell me Harbaugh doesn't think he can solve the Daniel Jones conundrum?
I think team style can help Daniel Jones. The perfect ideal, Justin Fields is there, but the perfect ideal would be like Pittsburgh. Russell's on his way out. Daniel can back up. They're going to run the ball, play defense, and put him in a position to put the ball in right spots, right? You need coaches like that who's going to milk you. And I know we're saying this about a guy who's in year 6 or year 7, but you need a guy who can be – you need a team who can milk him, right? Slow feed him, and then – but you've seen it. Even Zach Wilson looked better under Sean Payton, even though it was in preseason, right? He looked better under Sean Payton than he did with young LaFleur, little brother, and Hackett. It's just the truth. You get around certain people and certain coaches and they change your style because the way they play the game of football helps the guys who are not, frequently talent the Patrick Mahomes. And
all right, we've wasted. Wait, hold up. We've wasted way too much time on Daniel Jones.
Well, no,
let's go.
Hey, Peter's channeling his inner Giants GM.
Well, let him finish. Let Scott finish.
Okay, CJ, you're a general manager. You want to bring a guy in that wants to be a backup? You want to bring a guy in that wants to be a starter?
Now you want to bring a guy who wants to play, but I know I gotta play with the realistics too, Scott. How many?
But I understand that, but why sign him then? Why sign him? Why not get a young guy?
You asked me. You signed plenty of backups.
Yeah, but why not draft another guy in the draft that's much cheaper?
That I can agree with.
No. If I'm the general manager, I'm going to ask him straightforward. You can come in and be a starter. If you're the Raiders, why couldn't he be? He's not better than Minshew?
No, I'm not saying he can't be. I'm just saying that this is where I feel like as a GM, you lose your job making that decision. Yeah, you bring in Daniel Jones in to be a starter, but your roster sucks. It's not as good as the Giants. So I get that. It'd be different if he was. I'm trying to think of a team that's on the edge that can use, like, for example, I mean, do you see Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones any different?
I see Darnold younger, with more upside. I see Daniel Jones as a solid number 2. But when you bring him in, you got to pay him that and understand, listen.
I like, if Daniel Jones was with Kevin O'Connell, is he a better football player? And that's just them and what they do.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. Find somebody like that.
Dayball's good.
I love Dayball. Dayball is the only person who still runs Payton system. So that's why I love Dayball. But find somebody like that who needs a starter that can elevate Daniel's game. That's all I'm trying to say. With talent around him.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks elevating their game, how about the AFC Player of the Week, Bo Nix?
Yeah, Bo looking good, man. Hey, we got to – I know I've been on Bo ass, but
me and Peter hadn't figured out last year. Don't worry.
I give credit what credit is due. Bo looked good. That's the best he's looked in a long time for me.
Well, really good. You guys say that, but it's interesting. So my son Gavin sent me a stat that says the Broncos are like plus 87 against the NFC South.
Carolina, that sounds about right.
4-0. They swept
Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa.
Which we all know the division sucks, but yeah.
hey, you got to beat the bad teams before you're a good team, right?
Right. And you know, if you look at the schedule coming up, you sit there and say, okay, they have the mighty Raiders this week, right?
Right, with Daniel Jones as starting quarterback.
Right? I thought he was starting safety. I'm getting this confused now. Wait.
13 safety. 13.
Okay, 13 safety.
Right.
Got it.
And so
I thought he was starting Travis Hunter this.
And a lot of times you talk about the greatest panacea for what ails you is playing the NFC South. And then the other greatest panacea to cure you would be to play the Raiders and some of those teams, right? And so if you think about it, the Broncos down the stretch have the Raiders, then they have the Browns, then they have the Steelers. And then they have the Colts.
Hey, the Browns just looked good last night in the snow game, man. I love the snow games. Too.
Yeah, but you can't trust Jameis, buddy. I'm telling you.
Hey, I'll say this: Jameis is 2-0 when he's giving glory to the Lord. I don't know if people know that. When he had unwavering faith in his first victory, and the second one when he said the horse is prepared, but victory goes to the Lord. So Jesus is there when he calls on Jesus. If you do that a lot, he might win a lot more games.
But can you call on that every week though?
Hey,
the 1 week he didn't call on it, he got dogged. The 2 weeks he called on it, he played lights out. I'm just telling you what happened. Hey, I'll just tell you what happened.
I gotta start praying more.
Right. He makes you want to get on your prayer life better.
That's
Because
funny.
when he does it, and then you see how they play, you go, man. But I know we left the Daniel Jones. I just want to bring this up last time around on Daniel Jones. Good team for him, Tennessee, right? I know Brian Callahan with quarterbacks, right, and making the offense simple. And then I know his dad, Bill, is going to make the run game better. I think that fits. That's all I want to say.
Gotcha.
Smart. All right, but getting back to the Broncos, though. So you got the Colts, and they could be out of it by then in December. Then they got the Bengals. They could be out of it by December 29th. And then they finish up with the Chiefs, who might have already clinched home field advantage on January 5th.
Hey,
you could not ask for a more favorable schedule.
It's looking good for the 7th seed.
Hey, guess what? By the way, did you hear about our game got flexed?
Yeah, got flexed to Thursday night.
Hey, it's another primetime game. We'll take it.
Who's the Sunday night game that week?
Let me check.
Right. Why are we flexing games to Thursday? You think as a player, I'm happy to hear my game just change from Sunday to Thursday?
Hey,
no.
It's not about you guys. It's not about you.
No. But you have
not a reward.
But you have to
not
flex.
This time of year.
You got to go 3 weeks out to flex so people get logistics.
Dude, I hear you, but at the end of the day,
there's a ton of games that week off Sunday because there's that Thursday game, then there's 2 games on Saturday the 21st.
Who's the Sunday night game, dog?
The Sunday night game is the Bucks and the Cowboys.
Yeah, come on, bro. I love Jerry.
That's getting flexed.
Why we can't move Jerry to Thursday night and move us to Sunday night? Like I'm finna.
You know what? They should flex the Eagles Commanders games to Sunday night. That's an 11 o'clock game that Sunday. That should be the primetime game that week, probably.
All I know is this.
Or the Lions and Bears.
There's no way that Jerry's world is still running the entertainment where his team can stink and he getting primetime games. Flex him. Don't flex my body from Sunday to Thursday. Don't do that.
So Peter just laid out the upcoming schedule for the Broncos. We're the 7th seed right now. That means we'd be lining up with the 2 team in the standings. Who would that be right now? I thought it was maybe Pittsburgh lining up.
You
Buffalo.
can't line anything up right now. There are too many big games.
Yeah, so many big games and a lot of football left. It's a lot of football left. But it's interesting to talk about. But it's a lot of football left. Nobody's locked in. Not even the number 1 seed now with the Chiefs losing. No one's locked in yet.
Scott, right now, if you're the GM of the Broncos and this is what you saw coming up, and you know it's a week-to-week league, but if you miss the playoffs at the end of the season where you're sitting right now, is there a disappointment hanging over the team?
There'll be a disappointment because they're right now in position to make playoffs, but it's a positive too because a young quarterback's playing his tail off, and that's what you look for. I know with George Payton, the GM, he's going to draft well. He's going to bring football players in, and all you do is keep adding to some of the parts. So if you miss it, yeah, it hurts. The fans will be disappointed. The building will be disappointed. But still, you're going the right direction. That's all you can ask for.
No, that makes sense. CJ, I got a question with the sum of the parts with the Broncos going to the running back room. I used to always joke when you have teenagers helping out, volunteering somewhere, when you got 1 teenager, you got a good helper. When you got 2, you got none because they're going to just distract each other. When you got 3 running backs in a room, do you really have any?
Nah, I mean, that's on 2 reasons too, though. Head coach, he's not really the run the ball type of guy, right? They didn't draft Bo Nix to run the football. I'm just going to be honest about that, right? You drafted Bo to change games in the air. Now, he's not going to let Bo throw the ball 60 times a game, but you do need one guy. I mean, I do think if you have 2 and they complement each other like what he had in New Orleans, right? Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara complement each other. I think those is great. Me and Ronnie Hillman complement each other. Those things are great. But when you have
I believe CJ 100%.
When you have 3 that just, or when you have 2 that are the same style, or Correct. 3 that are similar to same styles, you struggling.
How about CJ? That rookie's running freaking hard. Eneman, whatever his name is.
Estime,
yeah, the French guy, Estime. He's running. He's playing hard, and I think when.
But him and Javonte are the same back. They're the same style.
I think Estime's got a little more juice.
He's younger. He's downhill, no injuries. But what I'm saying is powerful downhill break tackle guy. That's like me and Jerome Bettis sharing the same backfield. It's going to look the same. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Correct.
The reason why Jerome Bettis and Willie Parker worked. Willie Parker was completely opposite from Jerome Bettis.
Correct. 100% correct.
Wait, you're saying you're the same as Jerome Bettis?
Nah, that's what I heard.
In the
same style,
yes.
No. See, you guys don't realize they do have a lot of similarities. Similar running style, both great bowlers.
Well, yeah, we are great bowlers. I've actually beat Bussy in bowling, though.
Both have a 200 plus average on the bowling field.
But he's beat me on the football field plenty of times. So gotta give Bussy where credit is due.
So if you're the Broncos and you got 3 running backs that you're trying to share the ball with, do you really have you don't have anybody really? You're just kind of going who's hot right now. Is that kind of the mentality?
They're true running back by committee. Not like we're going to lean on Frank Gore and bring in the change of pace guy. We're going to lean on CJ, bring in Ronnie Hillman. Lean on Bussy, bring in Willie Parker, right? They're the true by committee. Hey, whoever these guys are and whoever has a hot hand that day, we're going to go. I think the bad part is there's no continuity between that back and the O-line. Like, O-line likes to know. I'm pretty sure when Frank was in San Francisco, just like with my O-line in Denver, you like to know who's behind you because like, man, if I don't get him all the way, I know Frank's going to make that guy miss or break a tackle. Or if I get him all the way and I do my job correctly, I know Frank's going to pick the right spot. When you have multiple backs that you don't know what they're going to do, you don't know who's back there, it makes it tough.
So, Scott, I had a question for you this week because looking ahead with the Broncos, like Garrett Bowles, the left tackle, one of the toughest positions to fill in football. It's his last year under contract. Good. Like, if you're the GM of the Broncos with what you know of their roster, and like, why is Garrett Bowles not getting under contract here in the near future?
Because, he should be, to tell you the truth, for the right price. the thing about it is he's had a lot of penalties, but you can call holding every frickin' snap if you wanted to on a certain player. It
But he
doesn't matter.
lives in the holding. He lives on the holding island.
Yeah. But the thing about it is he's a talented guy.
Yeah.
He really is. He's a big guy. He's got good feet. He's got good flexibility. He's got good hand use. He can do all that. Now, does he screw up? Of course he does. But are you going to be better off trying to draft another guy or sign a guy in free agency? Depending on what you have to pay him, depending on how he feels about the organization and how they feel about him in the building. You identify the person, you identify the football player, and that's when you resign guys.
Peter, you've had guys like Garrett Bowles on your roster before as an agent. Like if you're now getting, to the second half of the season and you're getting to free agency and they haven't put a contract you like in front of them, how long are you just telling them like, no, let's test the market in a few weeks. You made it this far. We feel pretty good about next year. Do you want guaranteed money now before an injury or something like that might bite?
Well, first of all, we're not testing the market in a few months. I know the market because I'm testing it every day. I'm calling teams, and I know where my guy stands there. And I know you're not allowed to, or whatever. It's the tampering, but the official tampering period starts when the trade deadline ends. All right. So we're not testing the market in a few weeks. I'm making calls all the time. Number one. Number two, I think that right now he's got to be looking at 20 million plus. That's what he's asking for. Whether he gets that on the market,
left tackle market right now.
Yes.
Garrett Bowles worth 20 M's?
That's the question.
Gosh, right? I need to go play left tackle.
Partner CJ, you played in the wrong era.
Right. That's the question. So what happens is in a situation, and I call it the Jeff Backus conundrum, because Jeff Backus played for the Lions for multiple years, and he was a good but not great left tackle. But every time it came to pay him, they always paid him because they feared what happens if we don't have him. But he was never really good enough to take him over the hump. And so you get sort of stuck with this above average guy because you fear that if you don't have anything, you're screwed if you don't have a left tackle. But once you sign him and you give him 3 years guaranteed, you're locked into him. And so you don't ever get better. So, Scott's right. If you can draft one and know you're going to get one better and upgrade at a younger player at a much better price, you do it. But too many teams and GMs are worried, well, gee, what happens if we don't?
Yeah, no, at 20 million, that puts them at right around the top 10. It looks like
guaranteed that's what he's going to want.
20 M's for a guy, that's a lot.
And the other thing too is, think about this right now. The other thing too is, and Scott can opine on this better than me, or maybe equivalent to me, is that it's also when you get into free agency and you got cap room. Okay, let's say you have Broncos 60, 70 million. Well, you're sitting there saying, okay, let's put all these pieces together. Do I want to spend 20 million or 1/3 of my available cap on my left tackle, or hey, maybe I go after T. Higgins and a safety, and then get and draft a young tackle, and that's the same amount of money. Okay, are we better off when you're making those changes to the puzzle? Or do we go all in on a player that we know? And understand this, the teams that have players, they know them better than anybody.
Correct. That's the key thing.
They know them better than we know them. They know what he is in the locker room, in the training room, in the offensive line room.
Yep. And the thing is, you're well aware, Peter, is you always overpay in free agency. You're taking a risk because, like you said, you might know the guy to a point, but you don't know him. The guy in your building you've had for 4 years, you know exactly what he is.
So Garrett Bowles is 32 years old, getting ready to go into free agency. Like maybe 20 million a year, but how many years are you putting that to? Are you giving him like a 2 year, 3 year, 4 year?
Well, he's gonna want for sure 2 years guaranteed. And so you're locked in at that, and you're going to be locked in whether, if they do a 4-year deal for 80, there'll be 40 guaranteed. You're not walking out at 2 years. You're committing to at least 2 years at 40. And that's your call.
Somebody will do it.
Right. And some people that do it have been successful. And otherwise, other times you get there and all of a sudden, wow, what did we just pay for?
Correct.
And that's where, it's interesting when you're talking about that, and general managers get fired because they screw up the first pick and they take, a Bryce Young or whatever. That's really only 4 years for $40 million. What about if you're really talking about it? The Jaguars spent $200 million on Lawrence, or the Browns spent $245 million on the quarterback. That's a lot bigger mistake, but nobody seems to sit there and say, well, they focus on, okay, you screwed up the first pick in the draft. But the rookie wage scale is 4 years, $40 million for Caleb Williams. That's $10 million a year. That's the third receiver.
Right.
What do we do?
Yeah, it don't matter. That makes sense. That makes
100%.
sense.
So they're probably more looking at where they're going to weigh their free agency money, and maybe they get, like Peter was saying, where you go, hey, we can get a receiver, a safety, and draft.
The Broncos. I mean, I know we're skipping way ahead. The Broncos are in a good position, like having a young quarterback who's already on the pay scale, and you got X amount of dollars to go make your team better. And if you're a young quarterback, i.e. Russell Wilson, i.e. Jared Goff, you can get to Super Bowls with quarterbacks on your roster. Right, even Joe Burrow, you can get the Super Bowls with quarterbacks on your roster that ain't getting paid nothing right now.
And we saw in the offseason.
But again, Rob, and all you guys, and Peter knows this, we talk about all the time. It's the sum of the parts.
Right.
You know, all of a sudden, like Peter said, you had 3 guys for 1 guy, and those 3 guys help you as much as the 1 guy does. Now you got a better team. You got more depth. You got talent around you. You know, but it's a tough thing being a GM. I mean, because you always think about that and you always look at it and you're like, okay, so if I give him, I know I'm going to overpay him already. I know it. But if I know he's a team leader, I know he's a tough son of a bitch, that he's a good football player.
Yeah, he brings more than just his actual game. Right.
Justin Smith, I told you this before. I signed him in free agency. And everybody's like, why'd you pay him so much? I said, the player is the player. I paid him for his toughness, his leadership, his command.
Yeah, he changes the locker room. He changes the mindset of the players, and he
completely changes it.
And he makes other players play better, even if he's not playing at the top of what he used to be. I've had teammates like that in our locker room.
Yeah, and the thing is, CJ, the thing that was so impressive about it, he held people accountable.
Right.
He held them accountable, and these young guys come in, they're like, I'm not messing with them.
Yeah,
I mean, he says something, we're doing it. You'd be there at 5:30 in the morning. You come in at 5:30 in the morning. You know,
it's the same with what, like, DeMarcus Ware wasn't still a good player, but wasn't the same player that he was in Dallas. But whenever he spoke, even it was to us on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
we listened. It changed our mindset because this is one of the greatest sack masters on the planet.
You say that.
You listen to those dudes.
You say that, and I'll tell you, the segue back to the Broncos is, I think Zach Allen, 99, might be the most underrated player in the league right now, because I think he does all the things that Scott is talking about that Justin Smith did, but he's still performing at a very high level. You know, they have 1 first-round draft choice in that whole defense, and you watch that. I'm telling you, watch the film. And that's
99 make plays, big dog.
Yes.
He can play.
Yeah,
he can play, and I like seeing that as a. At the end of the day, like Scott said, you just want football players, right? And obviously, I got a soft heart for late round undrafted guys who are just football players. We just play because that's what we do. We just play.
I do too.
We make it happen.
I know who you are and what you are.
Yeah. So I respect that a lot.
Speaking of good football players, we're watching some Saturday with CU versus Kansas. My question for you guys is, what Christmas music are you listening to while you're watching the CU game and putting up your Christmas tree?
I don't know, but I know the question is, can you play in the snow? Is it snowing in good old Kansas?
They're playing at Arrowhead, so I got a weather guy we can check with.
I'm pretty sure it's snowing out there in Kansas right now.
I'll tell you what, CU better hold on. It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be
I hope it's snowing. I'm going to be playing my record player.
You don't want
Christmas
it to be
music and watching the game.
It's going to be 60 degrees here, and on Saturday it's going to be 60 degrees in Kansas City and sunny on Saturday.
Okay,
don't worry about that.
I'm still playing my Christmas music while I'm watching the game and putting the tree up.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a dogfight. They just beat Iowa State and BYU. Both are very good teams. Very good teams.
Yeah, they're fighting for the bowl game. So
Correct.
They need these wins to get the bowl game. B, they're knocking off teams for playoffs. They're knocking them off. So like,
100%.
Right? That's what they're saying. Like, we
100%.
knocked off Iowa State, who had a shot. We knocked out BYU, who has a shot. If you can knock off prime time, your school gets the notoriety that Billy Self get it when it's hoop season.
Right? No, right? Kansas trying to, they got a good basketball team, that's for sure. So CU's favored by 3 points with the over-under at 59.5. So they're saying there's going to be some scoring going on.
Well, Kansas got an offense that puts up points. They got a quarterback who's very athletic. He can run around. We all know what Shador and Pat Shermer and them can do on the offensive side. But the key has always been Colorado's defense. Now, can Colorado defense handle the scrambling quarterback? Ain't played a scrambling quarterback probably all season if we can sit back and we really think about it. Maybe Baylor, maybe the guy at Baylor who had the long touchdown run, right? But this guy's way more athletic than the guy at Baylor. So,
well,
it'd be interesting to see how they play that one.
Yeah, the thing is, CJ, I know the head coach very well at KU. He's very intelligent, and the game plans. It'll be interesting.
Did he come from a bigger program?
No, he came from Buffalo.
Oh, he came from Buffalo. Yep.
Yeah,
Buffalo run game was.
Well,
I remember Buffalo run game. Buffalo run game was dope. Yeah.
A lot of games, and before that, he was Nebraska. But he's highly intelligent. Now, CU should win when it comes down to standpoint of just overall talent. Should,
right.
But still, you're playing on the road, and I'm telling you, them KU people will show up now. And like CJ said, that quarterback, he's dangerous now.
He's dynamic, boy.
He is. Yeah,
and then Scott, when you look at them from last year, they really had a really nice team last year. They've got most of the guys back. I think that they sort of underperformed early in the year, but they had a nice team that people were picking to win the Big 12.
Yeah, they're like 6-7 games last year that people were like, man, next year they can be an 8, 9, 10 win. Yeah.
No.
And Okie State's going to come in here in 2 weeks, and they're going to be real cranky. Yeah.
But
Van Gundy will be fired on the way home.
But the thing,
or Mike Gundy, I'm sorry, Mike, not Mike G, not that. Yeah, you don't think so?
Gundy ain't going nowhere. No.
What? It's time. It's time. 20 years.
No, he's
same routine.
He's a lifer.
Get up out of here.
He ain't going.
But
Gundy ain't going anywhere, Scott. Gundy ain't going anywhere until the mullet comes back into vogue.
Oh, don't worry, it'll come back.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's when he can leave.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rob, CU's a good team.
Yeah,
we are a good team.
I'll be right back.
You know what?
No,
and
they won by 20 last week, Scott.
Yeah. No, don't worry. The teams they're playing, they don't want to play CU right now.
No,
they don't want to play CU.
I mean, CU's been slowly getting you've coached before. Peter and I, we talk about coaching time. I mean, you want to be playing your best football towards your best of your game at the end of the season and keep 100%. Improving. And CU is on that same trajectory. And the scary part is Kansas seems to be on that same trajectory too, where they started slow, whatever they were off for whatever reason, but they're improving their game towards the end of the year as well. So it'll be it's like two unstoppable forces hitting each other. It's just who's
if CU plays a good game, they'll win.
Yeah.
If they play an average game, it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Big time.
No, so with going back to the Broncos this week, we're playing the Raiders, where they got two different trajectories going. You got Broncos improving week after week with the rookie quarterback, and the Raiders with a rookie coach. They got some inconsistencies. Are they tanking for Sanders?
Who, the Raiders?
The Raiders. Are they going to have Sanders?
No.
Are we going to be playing this game next year? It's going to be Sanders versus Knicks quarterbacks.
It might be Sanders versus Knicks, but it's not because the Raiders are tanking. AP is coaching for his job. All those coaches they're not trying to fatten frogs for snakes. All right, they're coaching for their jobs. They're playing to win, and they're going to come out as this is their Super Bowl. So no, ain't nobody tanks in the NFL. Not with coaches that can be fired,
right.
in a moment's notice.
You tank when you know your job is good. Right. If you tank.
Because right now, right now, it'd be interesting next year with Sanders. And are they can the Raiders afford to fire a first-year coach? Is Davis going to be able to go to the banker and go hey, can we do this?
Yes.
You got to ask Peter this because he's paying a lot of money to coaches right now.
Is he still paying Josh McDaniels? How many coaches is on staff right now on the payroll?
Oh yeah, he's still paying him. He's still paying Ziegler, the GM, all that stuff, and so that does factor into it. And then we don't know exactly how much the contracts of the coaches. Are they 2 years guaranteed? Are they 3 years guaranteed? With a head coach, normally all 5 years are guaranteed. Now, if AP, because he really didn't have a lot of leverage, took a 2-year deal or 5-year deal that only has 1 year guaranteed or 2 years guaranteed, then it's easier to jettison.
Yeah.
Because understand this, if AP gets fired, he's not going to be recycled and become the head coach of the Jets.
Facts.
So, sometimes when you fire a coach, and that's why it's the funniest part I always find about the press conference. I remember when Pat Bowlen fired Mike Shanahan, and he knew that he had 3 years left, guaranteed money at $7 million a year, and it's like, wow, this was a tough decision. He's the greatest coach in the history of football. If that's the case, then why'd you fire him? He's saying that because he wants someone else to hire him to take him off his payroll.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that's what happened. Oh my God! And not only was Shanahan the greatest coach of all time, he had the greatest staff of all time, because all those coaches have guaranteed money that the Broncos are going to have to pay if
they're not picked up somewhere else.
If they're not picked up somewhere else. So the first thing they do after they
football, baby, Kyle's gonna buy you out. I'm gonna buy you out. Get out of here.
So the first thing they do after they fire you, they tell you how great you are, just so someone else could pick it up. It's like with CJ with all his ex-girlfriends. Honey, it's great, but then he calls, hey Scott, I got a girl for you. Oh my God, is she? Oh, oh Scott, this one. Wait till you meet her.
Scott's like, who dis?
CJ, I like tall blondes, just so you know.
I know a couple.
So, guys, what games are you most looking forward to this weekend? Obviously, you got the CU game, you got the Broncos game, but what other? You guys are watching football probably more than most people I know. What games are you going? Boy, I'm not going to miss this one.
Well, this is the best time of year because there's so many great games. You're getting into these great rivalry games, and then this year's a little different because they're the new rivalry games that are being played. I mean, who would have thought 3 months ago that 10-0 Indiana would be going into the Horseshoe to face, number 5 Indiana facing number 2 Ohio State in the Horseshoe for the right to play in the Big Ten championship, for the right to get the bye in the playoffs. You would never have thought that. That's a huge underrated game 3 months ago. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh, I have some friends that were the Ohio and Indiana families. Like they're all one family, but on like this Saturday, they're going to be watching the games in different houses because it's not going to be a friendly game.
And the next game I'm watching is Army Notre Dame.
I was just to say that. The option versus the Notre Dame. This is going to be a show. I can't wait.
Do you know where's the game being played?
In
the Bronx, the Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium.
And the house that Ruth built. That's right. I mean, think about that. Army, Notre Dame in Yankee Stadium in Saturday before Thanksgiving. One's 9-0, one's 9-1.
Yeah.
Come on, now let's go.
Another one I got that people probably really not paying attention to, but I do love this coach. Mark Stoops. He gave Georgia problems. He gave Ole Miss problems. He can give Sarkisian some problems out there in Texas. Kentucky and Texas can be closer than what people think.
Totally agree.
Arkansas and Texas was closer than what people think. Mark Stoops is a hell of a defensive-minded guy. I'm actually excited to see that because if Mark Stoops shakes up the SEC with an upset, that'd be crazy. And then we got BYU and Arizona State.
Right. Arizona State's playing their tails off now.
Kyle Dillingham got them playing ball, boy.
Big time.
My quarterback coach, Marcus Arroyo, who's the offensive coordinator over there for Arizona State, got them playing well. Obviously, BYU's bouncing back off the loss, but this is a chance to play in the Big 12 championship. Sure. Can you imagine 2 Pac-12 teams playing in the Big 12 championship? Arizona State and Colorado? That'd be crazy.
Yep.
Hey, Scott, if you're with the Broncos staff, are you driving up to Wyoming this weekend to go watch Boise State play?
I should see the back in person, but I'm not going to do it because I know it's going to be cold and windy. I'm getting a little soft in my older age.
I remember
you send your interim rep there, CJ. Hey, CJ, go watch Gentry up in Wyoming this weekend.
Go watch it. As long as he put me in a hotel with a heater, I'll go watch it.
But you might get snowed in, partner.
Scott, I remember what's that road? 34. What goes from Loveland to Wyoming?
34.
Right. I remember. This goes back 10, 15 years, but I was recruiting a player at Wyoming, So I watched them play on Saturdays. I come up, there's that steakhouse right south of town in Laramie on 34. I remember we played golf on Saturday, Sunday morning, flag football in shorts. It's beautiful. I start driving up there. The wind starts kicking up. I get to Loveland. I'm like, it starts getting cloudy. I might have got 30 miles north of Loveland. I had to turn around because it was 3 feet of snow. It changed that fast.
This time of year, 100%, 100%.
Wow.
And a lot of antelope to say hi to you.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you, you talk about great games Saturday. We're coming into a great game Sundays too.
Yes.
There's a ton of really good games in the NFL. And, shoot, the Vikings they've been reeling. The Bears are reeling. They're going to play.
I like the Packers and the Niners. I like the Packers and the Niners. Niners are desperate right now.
Beyond
Whoever thought one of the best rosters in football, bearing injury, right? They have some injuries, but one of the best rosters in football are like struggling to win football games.
Yeah.
All right. They have a really good roster.
I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
I love it. Let's talk.
Brock Purdy.
He's
just a guy.
Is
just a guy.
Purdy?
It's the same thing he was in college. Just a guy.
So you're saying Daniel Jones could go to the Niners is what Scott just said? I heard Daniel Jones to the Niners?
He could. That wouldn't surprise me to Shanahan. That would not surprise me at all.
So
that's his type of guy.
Who would have ever thought this game on Sunday had any significance? The Arizona Cardinals versus the Seahawks to try to get to the AFC top of the NFC West.
That's right.
The Cardinals versus the Seahawks. You would have never thought that in week 12 in the NFL. Week 12 in the NFL, you would have asked if the Cardinals and the Seahawks were trying to catch the Niners.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to figure in Arizona, the quarterback's playing well.
Oh, Kyler's balling now.
Playing well.
All that now, I don't read and watch film, and all I do is play Call of Duty. He's balling now.
That whole division is locked up. If Arizona takes a loss this week, everyone else is 5-5. It's anyone's to take still here.
Oh, gotta love it.
And anytime Washington plays Dallas, I don't care what the records are. Anytime those two teams play, and then you got the Harbaugh Bowl on Monday night.
Oh, that's right. The other game earlier on Sunday, I was going to ask you guys about because I know how much CJ loves AR-15 there in Indianapolis.
Oh man,
the Lions playing a dome game in Indianapolis. AR-5.
He's not top 5.
It's like
top 5, AR-5. That's his name.
AR-5. So
I thought you said top 5.
Hey, is this a trap game for the Lions? Are they kind of looking by the Colts like, hey, we got another dome game. We got basically a rookie quarterback.
Nah, Dan Campbell got them boys rolling. Like they take the identity of their head coach, and he is not letting up.
They're like, hey, we got our Thanksgiving game next week. And just after this, we're playing on Thursday. We're going to have some bear for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they're gonna as long as they can continue to run the football. Jared Goff completion percentages skyrocket through the roof. Shout out to my old teammate and my Cal Bear. But as long as Dan Campbell's leading that team, they all right. I would be afraid if somebody else was leading that team. But as long as he leading that team, they go.
They go in every week, Rob. It's really, really cool the way they play as underdogs. The way the head coach makes them feel.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome.
No, I remember like growing up in a Detroit media market, being in Toledo, Ohio. We had all the Lions games, and it was you're like, oh, we gotta watch the Lions on Thanksgiving again. They're gonna be, you're just hoping Barry. You're just hoping Barry's
played there.
Yeah, you're just hoping Barry is playing. That's really all you wanted on Thanksgiving. Like I want to see Barry do something on Thanksgiving because that's my only hope for the Thanksgiving football. But then now it's like, oh, the Lions are playing. Let's go. I was like, I always joke the Lions are like that kid on the basketball team. You're like, hey, come on, Scott. You can make a basket. You can do this. You can do this.
Like I know this. I was in Green Bay when I first started scouting, and we played in Detroit. Of course, Thanksgiving Day, and Barry Sanders made Reggie White look like a fool like 3 times. A fool. And Reggie White's one of the best ever. And Barry Sanders he didn't even touch him.
It ain't too many moments Barry Sanders didn't make people look like fools.
Yeah.
Hey, but then
that kid is good.
The caveat to that would be as you go up there on Thanksgiving, and he throw me his keys before the game. He goes, "Hey, pick me up outside the back of the locker room after the game," because he wouldn't want to go talk to the media, so he would put on a towel, go to the shower room, and he would just walk right out the back door.
You
He
just
goes,
walk out the back door, right?
Yeah, I'll shower
the only
at home.
facility that has a back door to the shower that leads out. The only,
in the training room.
Well, only organization I've seen that has that. It's crazy.
Right.
It's an emergency exit. It's not like there's no emergency exits in the showers in any other facility that I've been a part of. But I know when I got to my last year in Detroit, you're taking a shower and you hear the teammates, "Don't open the door, don't open the door. It's cold outside, like it's snowing." The hell is the door doing in the shower? Like
that's the Barry door. That's the Barry door.
That makes sense now. That makes
That's
sense.
the Barry door. Let's go.
Do they have his mural painted on that door to this day?
It's just funny when I first saw it, because like usually in NFL facilities, I mean, Scott and Pete know the way it's all built. The showers are usually in the corner where it's all concrete or what, like there's nothing there. But when I got to Detroit, I was like, why is it a shower like leading outside, like truly leading outside to a back alley? Like why is the door over there? And it's a shower head next to the door though. So it's like if you walk in, you'll get hit with water. Like it's crazy.
I'm just telling you, and people are like, well, you don't want to shower? He's like, I'll shower at home. I live 10 minutes away.
Right.
And out the door, and the media's still waiting for him at the podium right now.
Right. Barry's still in the shower. Barry down the street. I don't know if the media, to this day, we probably just gave it up now, but I don't even know if the media knew there was a door over there.
No,
that's crazy.
Because it just you don't picture. Imagine in your own shower, you have a door to get into your bathroom, but you have a door that leads to the street. It just doesn't make sense.
Hey guys, as we wrap this up, did you guys get the chance much the snowball last night? Steelers
Come on,
versus
man.
Browns.
I love snow games.
Right?
So
I would have thought with the snow, with the Steelers running game, they would do much better than what they did. This is that game where you go if we were talking last week, Steelers are going to be 9-2 after they play the Browns on Thursday. I know it's a week-to-week league, but we're not expecting the Browns to do much more the rest of the season.
Yeah, but
what happened?
Rob, you didn't see it though. What the Browns did was they basically went cover 1, cover 0, and try to give Russell Wilson the ability to beat him, and he can't do it. And they were able to stop the run.
He's not the same player that he used to be. So he couldn't. He made some good throws, but a lot of places where you've seen Russell get out of that with his legs in some of those blitz packages, it's just not the same Russell anymore. He's 30 now? Scott, 37, 36?
No, he's 33, I think.
Nah, I'm
35.
He's 35.
He's older than me. I'm 33. He's older than me.
I know this, though. The thing that's cool with the
35.
Browns last night, and this kind of game plays into it, is Nick Chubb getting healthy.
Absolutely.
They're coming off the ACL. He's a difference maker now.
Yeah, and playing in the snow where you're going to get a bunch of carries.
Yeah, power.
It truly helps. I mean, Nick last night, Nick looked good, and it's snowing.
Yeah, and he's still not 100%.
Right. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
But 20 touchdowns for Nick yesterday was a solid thing.
I'll tell you the one thing that really disappointed me about the game on the last play, the lack of just desire to go after
the ball, get the ball to win the game. Yeah, did you see that? I thought I was like, what are we doing?
I was like, wow, you throw it up there, not one receiver went for the ball, and
it's like they was ready to go home. Like,
and the thing about it, CJ and Peter will know this very well. That's not a Tomlin team, not to go after it. I mean, they go down fighting, And
well, you had a chance. You didn't think you had a chance. Like the ball actually got to the middle of the end zone where you wanted to go. Like
correct.
Like you would think George Pickens. I don't know who's their middle guy, but
Pickens. If you watch it, Pickens was John with the corner in the back of the end zone.
In the back of the end zone, like he was waiting for the tip. Yeah, like he was waiting for the tip or something. So I thought it was interesting. Whoever their jump guy was, it probably was Mike Williams, their jump guy. Whoever their jump guy was, never jumped. Never jumped.
I would not know why it wouldn't be Pickens being the jump guy. I guess
right, super athletic, super long.
He's a hell of an athlete. Yep.
But Pete said it right. I thought it was weird because, like, if you look at the last play, the ball just hits the ground. Correct. No one really moves.
Correct.
So you're like, it's like a video game.
Hey, I'm not gonna let you guys go before we make a prediction though for the Broncos Raiders games in Vegas, Sunday, 2:00. What's the score gonna be, guys? Do you guys
Broncos
feel
win
confident? What's the score gonna be?
big. Broncos wins big. I don't know what
Broncos
the score
win
be,
big.
but I got them winning big.
I agree.
Winning big.
I'm saying 27-14.
Ooh, a
That's too
little bit.
close to me.
What when you guys say win big in the NFL is like when you say like 2 possessions, 3 possessions, like what's the big? When does a win is a win?
Three possessions is winning big.
Oh, 100%.
It's like when y'all just beat the Falcons 38-6. I don't see why y'all can't repeat that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see the Broncos putting up 30. I don't know if with the Raiders offense the way it is, I don't know if they get to 14.
Unless they got
Okay.
Daniel Jones starting the quarterback.
Right? Right? Sparkplug throws all the numbers off. You don't know what it is. You don't know what's gonna happen. A new quarterback. It'd be like remember when Baker came in on 2 days with the Rams to beat the Broncos?
Yeah, on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. Played well, too.
They play really well. That's tough.
Yeah.
Hey, Joker Hysteria timing in. CJ, thank you for everything you did for the Broncos country. Much love.
Always love, man. I enjoyed my time over there in Denver. I need to go back. I get hit I got emails all the time. Come home, CJ. Come home. We want to see.
Don't come now, partner. It is cold.
Yeah.
Just ask Peter. He'll tell you.
Hey, Scott will get you one of his flannel jackets to help out.
I'm not sharing it. Nope.
Not sharing the flannel jacket. Not sharing the flannel.
I rather be cold, Scott, than wet. It's we finna have a whole bunch of rain out here in California for the next 3-4 days straight.
But that's good for you guys. You guys need that.
I know, but we rather it not like find another way to make the world get wet in California than just rain all day.
Bring your tail down here and wake up in the morning. It's 22 degrees.
At least it ain't wet. You know how it feels.
Well,
all right, you drive to King Soopers or whatever store you're going to, and you go, man, it's cold. But then if you drive to King Soopers and where you going to, and you like, it's raining, like not drizzle, like rain. I'd rather take the cold.
Hey, CJ, we got to understand is Scott keeps it cold in his townhouse, so wherever he goes, it just feels warmer. He's like, oh, it's a balmy 44 out here. It's like he's just checking his pipes every time he leaves his chair to make sure they're not freezing in his townhome. He's like, oh, they're not frozen down there. Good, I can turn it down another degree.
You got to figure right now, my house is 61 degrees.
61?
My dogs are shaking.
Right. 61?
Yeah.
40 degrees colder when you walk outside? That's pretty cold, man.
He's
cold
got his windows open. He's like, no, it's a nice day. Let the fresh air in. So what about? Hey, I want a prediction also. Then you guys keep saying it's going to be close if CU doesn't play their game. Final predictions now. Everyone's got the Broncos should be winning big. What about CU at Arrowhead against Kansas? What do you see happening this weekend here in about 24 hours?
That's a good question because I think it's going to be a really tight game.
Yeah, there'll be some points scored.
I don't know. I would say CU's been scoring 40, so I don't see them not scoring 40. So 40-34, 42-30, 42-35, 40-34, CU.
Because winning big in college isn't maybe 3 possessions, because like it can get out of hand at the end of a game.
When you win big in college, it's like what you finna see Georgia versus UMass this weekend, 60-73. That's winning big in college. So
yeah,
it ain't gonna be that.
I feel like you can come back quicker in college than the NFL. So what do you see the score in Peter against CU Kansas?
I'm going to give you a partial score.
What is a partial?
What's the
He's
partial?
going to give us one digit from each side. He's going to guess which digit.
You got a bingo card, and you got half the card field, and the other half not.
He's like, there's going to be a 3 and 1 number and a
30.
What? 30.
Partial score 30.
Is it 3-0 or
yeah? No, I think that it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be close, 30-28, 35-32, somewhere around there. It'll be a funky score because there's going to be maybe a lot of field goals, a safety, whatever. It's not going to be a 28-14 sort of missionary sex score. It's going to be a funky score because there's going to be some stuff happening.
Scott,
I think what's going to happen, CU's going to get up early, and then KU's going to open it up with the running quarterback. I bet it ends up 35-31.
I kind of agree with Scott there. I think CU is going to be up most of the game, and then there's going to be some,
Correct.
or you got nothing to lose type of plays for CU to try to, or for Kansas to try to come back, and maybe it ends within a possession, but I think CU controls the game.
I think what helps CU, if I'm honest, is playing at Arrowhead. If they were playing at Kansas with that atmosphere, the stadium is smaller, it's going to be rocking. I think playing at Arrowhead, I don't know if Kansas fans are going to fill up 65,000.
They'll
I bet you have way
They'll
more
travel.
CU fans. I bet you have a ton of CU people there that it's tough to get tickets to Boulder right now. It's probably easier to get them over there at CU.
Yeah.
Or KU. So, hey, final question before we wrap it up. Joker Hysteria with a follow-up question. Does Bo win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Not if Jaden Daniels make the playoffs.
No. Jaden Daniels, he's already won it.
Let's see if he coming down the stretch. See what happens.
If Jaden Daniels makes the playoffs, I think it goes to Jaden Daniels. If Bo Nix, so you asked Scott that question if he was the GM about making the playoffs. The Broncos, I don't know if they thought they had a playoff roster. So if they make the playoffs, they overachieved. But I think, like I said, if they won 8-9 games this year, that was looking insight for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But if Jaden Daniels plays well and they make the playoffs, Bo will be right there, but I don't see Bo winning it.
Bo in the conversation is really cool, really, really cool. Jaden Daniels, I know he's had a couple tough weeks. That's a rookie. We'll wait and see how he finishes out, but he's done some impressive things. So is Bo. Bo's getting better, but the Commanders had nothing in front of them. As being a winning team, zero. You got a new head coach, you got a new coordinator, you got everything's new. You got a rookie quarterback, and the son of a guns put him in a situation, for the division, and that's huge.
Hey, final thoughts as we wrap this up. Peter Schaefer, Esquire, NFL agent extraordinaire. Final thoughts going into the week.
This is my favorite time of the year. You got Thanksgiving coming up. You got great football games right now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. How do you beat it? Come on now, let's go. And we have the Turkey Bowl coming up Thursday too.
I was going to say that.
We may have to do a special pregame on Wednesday to sort of preview it. Scott, final thoughts going into the weekend.
I was going to say Peter Schaefer's Turkey Bowl, and I hope no one pops an Achilles or pops an ACL.
Pop a hip, pop a back, pop an elbow. I need some other joints with the old guys, man.
Shoulder.
CJ, final thoughts going into the weekend.
A lot of high school football still playing in playoffs. Shout out to all the high school teams out there. Teddy Bridge got his first high school playoff win last week, so good luck to him. Love seeing our old former alums fraternity coaching football, making it happen. And then we have a celebration of the most winnings coach in Cal football history, and Jeff Tefford. He's getting honored tonight, and I will be there as one of his teddy bears of the class of 2012. And yeah, we're shout out to Jeff Tefford's hell of a coach. I don't know if Peter passed him, but I know Scott. I know he's been around the NFL a long time. I know he's not a lot of guys. He's a smart coach, good dude. Glad he's healthy. Glad he stepped away to the game to protect his health. And it'll be fun to kick it around with Teddy. Aaron Rodgers supposed to be here tonight. Marshawn Lynch. I mean, we're all in the building tonight for Teddy.
That's awesome.
Do me a favor, CJ. Tell Ted I said hi, please.
I will.
He come to practice with the 49ers during training camp. Good guy.
Perfect.
Hey, CJ, question for you with high school football. So I was told this story where a coach was basically running up the score on teams in high school. Then after the game at halftime or at midfield, going to the other coach, like, sorry, coach, I'm just trying to get my guys a scholarship.
I didn't say that.
No, I don't say you said that. My
story sounds like me. But I didn't say that.
If you got beat like 70-3 and the coach comes to you like, sorry, coach, just getting some scholarship for my guys, you'd be like, hey, would you?
I would respect that. What we can end on this story. Playing Livermore High in 2021 when I was a head coach at Monte Vista. I think we're 5-0 at the time, or 4-0, going on 5-0. But we beat them 60-7. And in the second, we were up 35-0 at the half. And I threw 2 more touchdown passes, and then I put the backups in, and I'm still throwing the ball. And the guy comes up to me so mad. Why are you throwing the ball? And I told him, dude, I got my backups in, and their families are sitting in the stands waiting to see them play all year. They haven't played all year. So I put the backups in, and I'm running my offense so the parents can be happy that their kids are living the memory of throwing the ball, running the ball, not just running the ball all day so we can slow the clock. And he got mad at me when I said that, but I was truly serious about that. There's some backup kids out there who never get a chance to play. So when you're blowing the team out, don't get mad at the backup quarterback throwing touchdown passes on you because his mom saw him sit on the bench for 6 weeks straight. So
No, I'm fine with that. But ain't nobody getting a scholarship in a blowout. The college coaches are not watching that film. That's bullshit.
That's
So
true. That's true. He ain't lied about that.
So there's
Any
a
good
school.
college coach worth his weight, if he sees a score 35-0, he ain't watching that tape. That's bullshit.
So in Illinois,
You cool with me though? I can play my backups and still run the score.
There's a team in Illinois, head coached by my source says he says, comes across and Don Beebe shaking his hand, going, "Sorry, coach, I'm just trying to get my guys a scholarship."
Bullshit.
So Pete, long as you ain't mad at me, man, playing my backups and my backups.
No, if you're playing the backups, if you're beating me with your backups, God bless you. They deserve to
Yeah,
play.
no, absolutely.
But don't play your starters saying because you want to. No, bullshit. You're doing it for some. No.
Hey,
It sounds
ladies
like
and
a high
gentlemen
school
out there?
coach right there.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen out there, we found what triggers Peter Schaefer. We found
Yeah.
that is one that gets under his skin. So
We
all
got
y'all
him.
We got him.
him.
Don't be blowing cats out.
I'm
for
out.
scholarships.
I'm out now for sure.
All right, guys, it's been a fun one.
Later.
See you guys.
Take care, fellas.
Hey, hold on, Pete, before you